Okay, we give it some minutes, so I will be just admitting the people that join us a bit later. But then with this, just wanted to welcome you to the session about the open call for public and private buyers from InnoMatch. Let's take a quick look at the agenda. So I'm Cristina Roca. I'm an expert in sustainable and innovation procurement working at ICLE Europe, which is one of the organizations that implements this project. And I will be briefly explaining the open call because all the information is already online and you probably are already aware of the basic information. And then we'll have Carlos Gonzalez from TIC Biomed, another one of the organizations implementing this project, that will give us more practical or more specific tips on how to present your application. And of course, at the end, we will have Q&A with you. I will be more than happy to answer your questions. So just to quickly show you the bigger picture of this program, it is part of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program that aims basically to position the EIC as the center of excellence in innovation procurement. So how do we do this? The organizations that are implementing these initiatives, either ICLE, TIC Biomed, among others, can offer you access to the skills through trainings, contacts, through matchmaking activities. And we also aim to foster contracts, so agreements between buyers and innovative startups. So this is just to show you the bigger picture. You will also hear, in case you end up being involved in InnoMatch, about these other programs, PIN for EIC, where you can also have access to different types of training, toolkits, matchmaking, and assistance to public buyers. So I won't go into detail now, but again, if in the end your organization ends up collaborating with us, you will definitely hear again about these initiatives and what can they offer to you, basically, in addition or to complement what we are offering you through InnoMatch. So with this, we can start more in detail, and we're going to explain the specific framework to participate in the open call for public and private buyers. Open call that, as you probably already know, is based on unmet needs that your organization has detected within your institution and that you would like to solve free of charge and with mentorship from the InnoMatch consortium. So some of you probably already know it, but this is only one of the types of open call that we have, in which the buyer presents individually their challenge. But at the same time, we also have a combo call that we call, where EIC companies and buyers can present together their challenge and their solution already matched together. So in case you have questions about this, we can also explain it at the end of the session. But this presentation will be focused on the one where buyers can present individually their challenges. About the combo call, there's another opportunity opening up in November, and we can explain more in detail later on. So these are, this is the key information about the open call for private and public buyers. We extended the deadline also to give the opportunity for interested buyers to present their challenges. As you can see, the deadline now is the 6th of June, and we will be available to assist you until 5 p.m. that day. We will be more than happy to answer your questions about your application. So the open call is addressed, as you can see by its name, to public and private buyers. Private organizations could be large corporations, could be SMEs, that of course are privately owned and constituted for profit or non-profit purposes. And when we refer to public buyers, we refer to those covered by the Article 2 of the Public Procurement Directive. So this can be contracting authorities such as national, regional, and local bodies, of course, as well as bodies governed by public law. So again, this can be consulted in the guidelines. We will be mentioning all of this document during this session. but it's the document that you can access in our website, and we will also put in the link in the chat. And then how many applicants will be awarded. So in this case, we will have a total of 5 unmet needs, each of them for different sectors or thematic areas that we will see in the next slide. So what is the financial support that we offer? In total, for each of these pilots, the amount offered is 60,000 euros per pilot, which, and is important, will be fully granted to the company, so to the EIC awardee to solve your unmet needs. So we have to say that in this case, the buyer doesn't get budget, but of course they get the mentorship program of taking part in this initiative and solving the challenge or the unmet need for free, basically. So here we have the 5 thematic areas. I think probably it's easy to relate to one of them because they are quite broad. So we have agriculture, food and beverages, we have construction, infrastructure, and manufacturing. And then we have IT, digital transformation, and then energy and health and life sciences. So this would be the number of challenges that will be selected in the end, 5, that will be related to these areas. And then a little bit more in detail. So who can apply? I already gave you the definitions of public and private buyers. You can find it also in the guidelines. But to give you some examples, a public hospital, a municipality, a regional government, or in the case of a private buyer, a big corporation, pharma company, etc. These buyers should be located in a European Union member state or in a Horizon Europe associated country. So the list can also be found in the guidelines or in the link in this slide that we can also send through the chat. The submission, and this is important, it can be conducted as an individual applicant or as a group of buyers. This means that if a buyer, for example, a hospital, already knows that another organization has a similar challenge or a similar problem and would also like to join this initiative as support or observing buyer, they can also do that. In this case, the buyer that submits the application has to do it on behalf of the group and mentioning them, of course, in the application. And then as a basic requirement to collaborate with us, of course, we ask for a minimum commitment through the implementation of the pilot, which can, of course, be explained with more detail in the letter of commitment signed by the buyer presenting this application. So the selection process that will be followed when we close the open call the 6th of June is the following. So the InnoMatch consortium will conduct a quick eligibility check to discard possible applications that do not meet the eligibility criteria. And then the eligible proposals will be evaluated by external evaluators with relevant expertise, of course, in innovation procurement, who are bound by a confidentiality agreement and a non-conflict of interest declaration. After that, we will share the final ranking with the successful applicants, and in the event of a tie, the proposals with higher scores in commitment and impact will be prioritized. So again, as mentioned, commitment is something important to take into account while participating in this initiative. And also we have the selection criteria that you see on the screen. Again, as you can see, a high amount of points are allocated depending on the commitment of the buyer. This is really important, of course, for the development of the program, and it not only assesses the team that will be involved in the process, but also the interest and the commitment from the top level management to adopt the solution if successful as well. Other criteria evaluate to what extent the unmet need requires an innovative solution that is not available in the market yet, as well as how your proposal fits with the 12-month pilot deployment program that we have as part of the InnoMatch initiative. Each of these criteria count for 20% of the points each, meaning a total of the 60% of the application. So you already know it. Read the guidelines for applicants. There you will probably solve all your questions, but in case you have any doubts, you can contact us or raise it at the end of the session. You should register for the F6S account if you still haven't done so. And you should submit your application before the 6th of June, as mentioned. Here, some of the documents that you should be considering at application stage. So the guidelines, as we mentioned, the application form, and then the letter of commitment for which we provide a template that you can use. And the rest of documents, we will explore them in case your proposal gets selected. So it's nothing that you have to worry about now. This is the expected timeline for buyers that are selected. So as you can see, during June and September, or from June to September, buyers will be grouped through thematic areas in case we receive similar challenges, and we'll refine those unmet needs into challenges. And then from October to December, we'll identify and develop advanced challenge statements for the EIC awardees in order to prepare for the publication of the open call. Publication of this open call, so when we have the challenge already polished and publishable, we will gather them and we will promote them through our channels, and this will happen in January 2026. This is when we will receive the tailored solutions for your unmet needs, for your challenges, and then we will select the most appropriate one during May or June 2026. This means that the deployment of the solutions will start around June 2026 and will last for 1 year until June 2027. So again, submit your proposals before the deadline. We'll be really happy to receive them. You can either write your doubts in the application platform or write us directly. And yeah, let us know in case you have any questions at the end of this presentation. And with this, I hand it over to you, Carlos.
Thank you, Cristina. I don't know. Sorry, but no. Can you see me?
I'm asking you now to start the video. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for such a nice presentation, Cristina. And now let's dive in what makes a strong application. As a reminder, this is a competitive code and it is close to just 5 pilots, one per sector, as Cristina already mentioned. So making your application standing out is crucial. The focus must be on presenting a clear, real need and not the solution itself. So we will go through practical tips and walk through of the section of this application template. Okay. So next slide, please. No, it's up to me. Okay. Okay, think on this way. If someone says that they need a drill, what they really need is a quote on the wall. Your role here is to describe why you need this wall and not what tool you want. A good need is long-term, it's impactful and open to multiple solutions. So avoid suggesting specific technologies or vendors and try to frame your challenge in a way that leaves room for innovation. For example, we from TIC Biomed, we are related to healthcare. So one example related to healthcare could be a surgical robot that sounds super cool and sounds sci-fi, but perhaps what you need can be solved with software that better manage the surgeon's workload, or perhaps an AI assistant that could lighten their work. This doesn't sound that cool as the robot surgical, but at the end, you are solving your problem. Can you move to the next slide, please? Thank you, Cristina. So in this sense, look for impactful needs. When you identify a challenge, it shouldn't come just from an internal brainstorming session or management mandate. Instead, you should engage with the professionals on the ground. To keep with healthcare examples, clinicians, nurses, IT staff, and especially the patients, the end users. So they are the ones who face the problem daily, and their insights will help you to ensure that your need is real, precise, and widely felt. Uh, Can we go to the next slide? No. Ensure that your proposed needs fits within the framework and the conditions of the call. If your challenge is aligned to the thematic areas, if it is suitable for a project that is worth it 60,000 euros, and if it is too broad or outside that scope, it may be filtered by the eligibility check. So always double check your alignment with the program goals, and for sure with the documents that we already sent you in the chat, the guidelines, all the templates. Please check this carefully and be aware that you are completely aligned to what InnoMatch is. Okay, next slide. Next one. So this is the different section that the application form is going to have, and you should start with a strong and catchy title. It should be concise, clear, and memorable, reflecting the problem and not the potential solution. Then the next section in your summary, make it immediately clear what the problem is and why it solving matters. This is the first section that evaluators will rate, so make it count and briefly introduce the organization context and describe the core challenge. Try to be as much specific but also measurable as possible. Then we have the commitment section, which is also key, as Christina mentioned. In case of a tie, commitment is going to be a high value. So show that your organization is fully behind your challenge. Provide a signal letter of commitment from your organization legal representative, because the evaluators really want to know that you are serious and prepared to dedicate the necessary times and resources to this project. Then we have impact and business opportunity. Also in alignment, explain the magnitude and the urgency of your problem and try to along it with tangible KPIs. Things like, coming back to healthcare examples, reduction in emergency visits, improvement in the satisfaction scores. Just try to show how the challenge aligns with your organization strategic priorities. The more focused and realistic is your scope, the better for the evaluators. Then the last section, which is innovation and experience. Here, just demonstrate that you have done your research. Help evaluators understand that this is a genuine gap and a real opportunity for innovation, because the experts on the field are you. The evaluators are experts evaluating, but the ones that has the most knowledge on the field are you. So then remark that if there are already solutions in the market, if your challenge is different or more demanding to others, and remember that the goal is to trigger innovation, not to duplicate what's already available. So in this sense, explain how a successful solution could scale up internally or across other organizations. If you have already validated the problem with internal stakeholders or external communities, please highlight this, because it is also a key that you have been already working on the field. So now we can go to the next slide and take a look at an example from healthcare sector. It is called EPITIC. It is a challenge around digital communication for epilepsy care, and see how the summary clearly outlines the need and the urgency. Then in the commitment section, you could see that there is a clear staff allocation to conduct the pilot, ensuring ethical compliance. You could see that they were committed to have 60 patients, 3 neurologists, 4 nurses, 1 developer from IT, and also an innovation manager. Then if you go to the expected benefits, you could see that both the benefits and the KPIs within the impact section, these are clear and these are specifically stated. So please try to be aligned to try to be very clear. Then, for example, in the innovation, in the last section, innovation is target and the pilot scope is feasible with available resources, and it can also address scalability potential to other chronic conditions beyond epilepsy. So in that sense, be aware that your challenge could be also scaled up and not just an isolated solution. Okay, if we go to the next section, please. Here you could see that within the InnoMatch project website, in the resource section, you could find the impactful innovation library. If you go to the type of resource filter, you will find there more examples from challenge as the one we showed here, the EPITIC. I think there are from 5 to 10 different challenges that you could read, that you could try to interiorize and then be able to write your own challenge. So in that sense, feel free to access all kind of resources available for you in order to prepare the best proposal possible. You have all the resources within the InnoMatch project website. You have it already in the chat. So please go to these resources and be aware that you are preparing the very best proposal that evaluators would like to, that would like to award and would like to really evaluate. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Carlos. Let me see. Yes. And now we would go to the Q&A session. I already see we have some comments in the chat. So first, Andre is asking when exactly, so what date will the 5 winners be announced? We can go really quick to the timeline again to give you the overview. And here we have it. So as mentioned, the grouping of buyers maybe would be slightly delayed because of the extension of the open call. So we can say that the selected candidates will be announced around the first week of July. So this means that the grouping of buyers will start around July to September with a small delay in there. So yeah, it's a approximated time frame. Of course, we do not have the exact date yet, but around the first week of July would make sense. And then we have another question from Reinaldo. Will a new edition be done in the future? And as already Fiorella explained, my colleague in the comment, this is the only open call for exclusively for buyers. So what does this mean? We will have another opportunity in November, but in this case, the one for November will be an open call where buyers and companies present together their proposal. So for buyers or for public buyers, in the case that's your organization, this is the only opportunity to present it individually. That's it. In case you have ties or you're already familiar with another company that already knows your challenges and has a solution for it, you could also explore the possibility of applying together for the open call of November. And we will be sharing, of course, more information through our channels when the time comes. And then Andrea has another question about the impact. And Carlos, maybe you can answer this. So she's asking, what kind of KPIs are you looking for? At this stage, it will be hard to specify percentages as KPIs.
Well, I know that it could be hard in this early stage to be thinking on these different KPIs, but the most important thing is that these are clear and measurable. For example, here with the one related to healthcare, the KPIs mentioned were patient satisfaction that was going to be measured through a survey, reduction in emergency visits, and the quality 10 scores. So for example, if your solution is regarding, I don't know, it's about a software to improve the efficiency of offices workers, for sure you should measure the end user the end user satisfaction through a survey or through different interviews or whatever. And then, for example, it could be percentage of time looking for different documents. If you could, Andrea, put an example of a sector, perhaps we could go and dig deeper into different KPIs, into different examples. But in this sense, the most important thing, as said, is that these are very clear and measurable. I don't know, Andrea, if you want to provide a bit more logistic. For example, regarding logistic, it could be percentage of time from production to the from production to wrap up and then to the transport, or percentage of time saved with this solution compared to the previous one that we had, or number of people involved in the process then and now. This could be different examples that you could adopt. Okay, no, thank you for your question.
Thanks so much, Carlos. I think that was really clarifying. And yeah, of course, also feel free to raise your hand or ask me to unmute you, because if you want to address any questions verbally, we can also do that now. You have the opportunity. So of course, feel free to do that. If not, we can need to jump off. Thanks so much, Andrea, for joining us. Thank you for your time. If not, Carlos, we can address maybe another one of the frequently asked questions that we are receiving a lot. And it's who are the EIC awardees, right? And are they able to solve my needs or my challenge? And in this sense, we can maybe also share in the chat, if you have it handy, Carlos, the deal flow for the list of EIC awardees. This is not a complete data set of the companies that can present their solutions later on, but this is indeed something useful that you can have in your handy in your list of resources when presenting a proposal. So there you can see the different companies that later on would be applying for or could be applying for the open call of EIC awardees. You can check the sectors, you can check their solutions. So something useful to have in mind. Thanks so much, Carlos, for sharing the link. And we will give it some more minutes because, again, this is the opportunity to raise your questions. Not we can explore also other frequently asked questions that we have received through other channels. And it's, for example, when it comes to public buyers, right? Then what is their role there? Also, when it comes to the possible adoption of the solution later on. So in this case, for example, we have this process here that shows more or less how private and public buyers are related to each other and their similar roles when it comes to their participation of InnoMatch. So as you can see, in both cases, they present their proposal with an unmet needs. In case they get selected, they proceed to the open call for EIC awardees, what we have explained right now, where these innovative companies can present their solution. And then, of course, they deploy the pilot or the proof of concept demonstration with the selected EIC awardee. What is the difference between public and private? Of course, after if the solution proves successful, of course, public buyer could maybe launch a tender, but always in compliance with the public procurement legal framework. After the deployment of the pilot, we will also be giving you some options, giving you some advice on how to do that. And for the privates, we already know that that's easier, right? Of course, they can purchase a solution in accordance with the private law of their operating country. But this is just to give you an overview of one of the most asked questions when it comes to public buyers.
And again, I'm afraid of being super persistent. Go through the official documents of InnoMatch. I think it is quite important to know very well the guidelines for applicant, to be familiarized with the template. And as said before, you can go through this library of resources to find different challenges that could help you to better understand how to fulfill the template. So do not hesitate in, spending 10, 15 minutes in reading carefully all these documents. Just in case I'm afraid that I can be super persistent on the topic, but I think it's quite important to do that.
Exactly. And we have shared the link for the guidelines also in the chat, really relevant before your application. So yeah, also sharing the email address that you can contact in case some questions pop up after this session and you didn't have time to write them down. So again, until the 6th of June, the open call is still open for your proposals. In case you have any doubts about the eligibility of your organization, about your proposal, you can contact us directly in that email address, and we will be more than happy to assist you. So, any last words, Carlos? Otherwise, I think we can close it a bit earlier.
Just to say that it is a pleasure to support you within your application. That we are here. You can contact us through this email, and we will try to support you as much as we are allowed to. And best of luck with your next applications.
Best of luck, and yeah, of course, this session will be recorded and available within our channels. So in case you're curious and you want to rewatch it, you will be able to do so. So thank you all so much for your time. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
And see you all soon. Hope to receive your proposals and be reading them really soon.
Okay, bye bye.